Chad Barron doesn't love me, but he does spoil me. So I became the most willful little canary in the high society aviary, the one everyone was wary of. Until his first love, his untouchable white moon, came back to town. Overnight, I turned into a rat crossing the street. That night, just as I finished packing to leave, the man who ought to have been the star of Artie's engagement party, Chad Barron, showed up at the house. The designer bags I'd stuffed into a canvas sack spilled all over the floor. He arched a brow, danger in his tone. Not a single tear? I kept you all this time for nothing, little heartless thing. Another kiss? I turned my face away, my whole body still ached. Hearing what he said set me off. You said, just one kiss and then did everything anyway. No. I'm not in the mood. I'm tired. Chad gave a soft snort, shamelessness written clear across his face. My ancestor, you don't have to move this time. I'll do it. I opened my arms. I'm sticky and uncomfortable. Carry me to the shower first. Before the words were even out, Chad scooped me up. Exhausted, I curled in his arms and refused to budge. Who knew? No sooner had we stepped into the bathroom, before the water was on, my back was pressed to the cold tile. Sometimes I truly don't understand how Chad has this much energy day after day. I blacked out several times, and he woke me several times. At last, when I had no strength left, Chad dried my hair and carried me back to bed. I was drifting when I heard his phone ring. He reached for it. A timid female voice came through. Chad, I'm back. Chad glanced at me. I shut my eyes at once and pretended to sleep. He slipped on a robe and stepped out onto the balcony. Somehow, though I'd been drowsy, all my attention now fixed on that call. 5 minutes later, he came back, tossed his phone onto the nightstand, and opened the wardrobe. I cracked an eye, picked up his phone, and unlocked it. He turned, and caught me red-handed. I blinked innocently. Before he could take it back, I darted a look at the caller ID and asked, as evenly as I could, Artie Clark is back. Artie Clark, his first love. The girlfriend he dated all through college, the white moonlight their circle never stopped invoking. His long fingers slid the phone from my palm. There's a welcome back dinner. I sat up and lobbed a pillow at him, unapologetic. A welcome dinner at midnight? And I suppose you're the only guest? Chad cocked a brow and caught the pillow. Jealous? Hardly. What are we, exactly? We're not even boyfriend and girlfriend. What would I be jealous for? This skewed thing between Chad and me had gone on a long time. He had never said he loved me, and I had never presumed to be his girlfriend. What tied us together was nothing but adult need. As he knotted his tie, those articulate hands still found time to pinch my waist. Where'd you get the strength to be mad? Haven't had enough yet? Just seeing him in a suit irked me. All that for a welcome back dinner? Why so formal? I'm going too. His gaze traced my face, lingered a beat, then he agreed. Fine. Change. Back then you two were this close to getting engaged. If the real Clark heiress hadn't returned and Barron family's old lady hadn't decided Artie wasn't worthy of her grandson, you'd never have broken up. And now Chad isn't the kid he was in college. He doesn't need Barron family's permission, he can make his own calls. Of course he'll get engaged to Artie. I heard while Artie was overseas, Chad handled all kinds of things for her personally. If you ask me, that one at his side now, never had a title to begin with, probably isn't long for this. Artie's been raised as a proper young lady all these years. How could she compare to that canary who can't show her face? By the time Chad and I reached the bar's private room, everyone else had arrived. Mostly old college friends. In the center sat the fabled white moon. She really was beautiful, fresh and unworldly, hair to her waist, a softness that made her seem especially gentle. When she saw Chad, her long lashes trembled and her gaze quivered. Chad. At her voice, the idle chatter died, all eyes swung to the door. Chad's glance swept coldly over the gossipers. It stopped on Artie. Silence held a few seconds. The person beside Artie rose and yielded a seat to Chad. Just then I leaned out from behind him and poked my head in. Hi, everyone. Is there a seat for me? What's she doing here? Why? She must have wheedled Chad into bringing her. Afraid her patron will dump her, no doubt. Chad, who is she? Artie's expression when she saw me was anything but pleasant. But she forced a stiff smile and, with effort, asked Chad anyway. He said nothing. I, however, chirped, I'm his little sister. I'm Annie. I heard you just got back, Artie, and worried you'd have no one to talk to, so I came to keep you company. Artie tugged at the corner of her mouth and looked to Chad. He still didn't speak, those long legs carried him to the seat at her side. Only then did Artie's face ease. There was no space left by him. His choice to sit beside Artie said it all. I found a nearby chair and sat, an odd piece in their tidy puzzle. They reminisced about college, I neither understood nor cared to. I pulled out my phone and stared at my account balance. Forget it. Endure. Don't splash that little green tea with liquor in public after all. If he cuts my card and I lose my income, I'll come out the loser. As I clenched my teeth, a glass appeared before me. Annie, thank you for keeping Chad company these days so he wouldn't be lonely, Artie said, smiling flawlessly. I curved my lips. You're welcome. Just doing my part. Besides, the work wasn't exactly done by me. Everyone who caught the double meaning laughed. Only Artie didn't. Her nerves were made of steel, even so, she kept her pleasant face as she offered me another drink. Think of it as an early wedding toast. In 2 weeks, Chad and I will be getting engaged. 2 weeks? The white moon comes home and gets engaged at once? How had I not heard a whisper? Look again at the culprit. Chad's gaze slid over, dark and unreadable. I shot him a questioning look. The slight nod he gave told me I wasn't wrong about any of it. I understood. Then congratulations to you too. I know when to bow out. I tipped my head back to drain the wine, when a large hand snatched my glass and downed it in one go. Chad's voice was edged with anger. Forgot you're allergic to alcohol? At that, Artie pressed her fingers to her temple and drifted unsteadily closer to Chad. She was just about to take his arm when he suddenly stepped forward. Her hand closed on air. Face set, Chad headed straight for the door without a backward glance. He looked angry. Angry at what? I was the one with a belly full of fire and nowhere to put it. But it was the middle of the night. If he left, how was I getting home? I hurried after him. At the door, the discomfort boiling in my chest refused to settle. So I turned back, grabbed whatever bottles were on the table, and without a word doused every last gossip in reach. Watching them drip like drowned rats finally eased the knot in me. They held and flailed, chaos erupting. Annie, are you out of your damn mind? I blinked. Haven't I been out of my mind for ages? You only just noticed? Now that Artie's back, how long do you think you can keep living like this? Maybe not long, I agreed silently, but a day is a day. If they mean to settle scores later, one more won't make a difference. Thanks for the reminder. For now, there's nothing you can do to me. You're thrilled I'm getting engaged. Chad sat in the car with the window down, his tone unreadable. I considered. If there's money in it for me, at least I won't be sad. Who argues with money? Hope flared in my eyes the next second. You said when we part on good terms you'd give me a big payout, enough to set me up for life, right? He cut me off before I'd finished. Be quiet. What fight did he want to pick now? I reached for the door to get in beside him, when a slim hand pulled it open from the other side. Chad, could you take me home? Artie asked. It's hard to get a cab at this hour. Chad closed his eyes in tacit assent. I stood at the door, the cold wind needling me. I hugged my arms tight. A soft hiss slipped out. From inside the car came a cool, needling drawl. What, planning to turn into an ice sculpture out there? I pouted. I don't want the front seat. Artie was already in back. The seat wasn't even warm yet. Through the window, Chad looked at me, baffled. I still refused to take the passenger seat. The car didn't move, he didn't speak. But my sixth sense told me he was furious. Artie weighed the pros and cons, then suggested, why don't I sit up front? I get carsick anyway. I secretly texted Chad, you and she aren't actually engaged yet, are you? Have you even added each other as contacts? As soon as I sent them, Chad's phone chimed twice. He checked it, then gave me a puzzled look. I pretended not to notice and kept typing, big brother and big sister, old flames never die, huh? No other woman has ever sat in your car. Chad shut his phone and lifted his eyes to me. The front seat is full of your favorite snacks, he said lazily, and that new bracelet you wanted. Artie answered instantly at the sound, thinking it was for her. Delight flashed in her eyes, she reached for the glove box, but Chad's assistant stopped her. Miss Clark, not for you. Chad's gaze cooled as it fell on me. Want some? His hand closed over the jade-pale fingers I'd braced on his thigh. His other palm had already slid around my waist. He arched a brow, his throat bobbed. I glared. I don't. I'll get fat. Artie started to turn to look. Chad raised the privacy screen in an instant. Her face blanched. After the light changed, she steadied her voice. Chad, I just remembered something. Could you let me out here? The assistant pulled over. As Artie opened the door, she asked, Chad, a university has its anniversary soon. Teacher Paul asked us to come back and visit. Chad checked with the assistant about his schedule. He happened to be free, so he agreed. All right. Once she was gone, Chad covered the bite marks I'd just planted on his forearm. Little savage. In a fine mood, I dabbed away the damp with a tissue. He snorted. Happy now? I wasn't unhappy to begin with. Mouth like steel, every inch of you. I slid into the passenger seat to collect my snacks and the bracelet. Greedy, he drawled. Come here and give me a kiss. I toyed with the chain. Don't want to. Ungrateful little thing. Early the next morning, Chad went to the office. I headed to the dressing room and counted the bags I'd hoarded over the years. Then I did the math on what they'd bring in. If I just rent a place in the future, I'll be fine. If I run farther, maybe not. And I want a place of my own. A stable home. At least I won't have to bounce from place to place anymore. With nothing on the agenda, I told the housekeeper I was going out. I swiped Chad's black card and bought a mountain of luxury bags. Use it while I can, before he takes it back and I can't. Isn't this Annie? Annie, what are you doing here? Enemies meet on a narrow road, Artie and her friends, of course. Last night might as well have happened 5 minutes ago. Artie now treats me like enemy number one. Naturally, her friends aren't about to be polite. I handed the bag I wanted to the clerk. Buying a bag. What else would I be doing? Artie likes that one. Give it to her. One of her girlfriends couldn't wait to pick a fight. Why? I passed the black card to the clerk. Charge this. Artie, are you going to let a mistress strut in front of you? I'll go slap her. You're not even together yet, I said mildly. Where did mistress come from? Watch your mouth. If you can't, I don't mind educating you. Touch me and see. My dad is the president of Jennifer Corp. I don't care who your daddy is. Even if the king of heaven shows up, I, your ancestor, will still educate you. A sheltered heiress, she wasn't used to this. She spun away to call home. Dad, someone's bullying me. Send all the bodyguards. Oh? Want to make a scene? A second later, men in black suits appeared from every unobtrusive corner. Jennifer's eyes lit up. That was fast. I frowned. There were quite a few. They closed in on me by degrees. Miss Annie, one of them said, President Barron instructed us to be at your disposal. I hadn't expected Chad to have planted a detail around me. Hidden well. What, worried I'd do something to Artie? You've been tailing me this whole time? I asked. Yes, the bodyguard replied. President Barron said to wait unless you needed us. Artie's expression flipped, she hurried to smooth things over. So Mr. Barron arranged this. A misunderstanding. Jennifer was baffled. Artie, why are you bowing your head? You're Chad's fiancé. Before she could finish, Artie seized her hand. Jennifer, stop. Then, mask back in place, she said to me, Annie, since we've run into each other, why not shop together? Seeing that, Chad's bodyguards drifted away. I looked Artie over, stomach turning. Miss Clark, are you planning to tail me everywhere I go? I'm off to buy men's underwear for Chad. Care to come? Jennifer went scarlet. How can you say that in public? Did you time travel here from the Qing dynasty? You. Artie held her smile. Let's just walk around. See if you need anything. Conveniently, a lingerie boutique was right there. I bought a few pieces for myself, then tossed in several pairs for Chad. Artie and company hovered at the door, refusing to come in. I had just swiped my card when a message from Chad popped up. Patron saint, ? I replied, entirely off topic, ran into your fiancé. A second later, from him, where? I sent the address. Chad really does treasure his ex, afraid I'll bully her? I moved on to another shop to look at bags, Artie followed. Her gaze landed on one, just as she reached for it, I snatched it first. Wrap this up for me. Jennifer snapped. Annie, are you looking for trouble on purpose? I covered my mouth and gasped theatrically. You noticed? Wow, you're sharp. Don't go too far. Artie is being gracious, but I'm not. I'll drag you down with me if I have to. She lunged to hit me. I caught her with one hand, a light squeeze, and she winced. Her face changed, she went for my hair. I slipped aside, and she pitched toward the floor. Artie grabbed for her, slipped herself, and toppled. At the crucial moment, Chad arrived. He caught Artie. Chad, you're finally here, Jennifer cried. You don't know how much Artie suffered. Tear after tear rolled down Artie's cheeks. I pinched my own face hard, trying to summon a matching tear. Not a drop. Ignoring them, Chad phoned his assistant, voice cool. Come now. He hung up and eyed the bag I was hugging possessively. Ambitious. If Annie likes it, Artie said quickly, she can have it. Chad's brow lifted. Have it? Artie started to add more, but he took 2 long strides to my side. Where's the gift you bought me? Gift, I hadn't bought one. No, he couldn't mean, I handed him the fresh pack of men's briefs. My cheeks went hot. Chad glanced down. You do know my size. I turned away. I should have bought the smallest. Before long, the assistant hurried in. President Barron, you called? Chad's gaze skimmed over Artie and friends. See them home. As they left, he added, and pack up all the latest bags in the store. To where? The assistant asked. Home. I stared. Huh? For me? Aren't you fond of them? Then buy them all. Delight bubbled up. You do have a shred of conscience. Artie and the others left, aggrieved. In the car, I hugged my haul, feeling more pleased by the minute. Beside me, the man drawled, last time I said 1 kiss per bag. I suspect you're trying to work me to death. Then hand them back. No. We got home after dark. Chad headed into the shower. His phone kept lighting up. I glanced over, he really had added Artie on WeChat. Chad, did you receive a university's anniversary invitation? I've been thinking about those days. Do you remember Teacher Paul, our counselor back then? I opened Artie's moments, it was all college nostalgia. If only we could go back. Do you remember the roads we walked? Shared song, if back then. Anyone could see those were posted for Chad's eyes. When Chad came out toweling his hair, he caught me sprawled in bed, scrolling through her feed and dissecting it line by line. Since I'd been caught snooping before, I simply handed him the phone brazenly. I'm reading the messages from your fiancé. Chad slid it from my palm. Not my fiancé. He tossed the phone aside and bent to kiss me. I blocked him and asked, how was your college life? I didn't go to college. I'm curious. Desire flickered in his eyes, he gave a low hum and kept tracing down my waist. I'll take you next time. I spend most of my time at home, I notice every new flower and blade of grass. Chad never restricts me from any room. So the next day, when I went into his study to look for a luxury bracelet I'd misplaced, I found a ring tucked in his cabinet. I did the math, yes, the engagement date was close. I drifted for a moment, then opened the box without thinking. The ring inside was gorgeous, the very design I'd admired long ago. A diamond the size of a pigeon's egg, yet not the least bit vulgar. Chad does have taste. I slipped it on, the fit was perfect. It looked beautiful on my hand. A pity it wasn't mine. With a mix of feelings, I put it back where I found it. In this house, I could take any piece of jewelry with me when I left. Except this ring. Chad still went to his alma mater's anniversary and gave a talk as a distinguished alumnus. Tomorrow is their engagement banquet. In this line of work, we do have our code, don't touch what belongs to a family. So, barring surprises, that lecture would be the last time I saw Chad. Even so, I couldn't help going to look, just once more. Masked and late, I took a back corner seat. On stage, Chad stood straight and elegant, cool as a flower on a high ridge. Bespoke suit, gold-rimmed glasses, every gesture spoke of restrained aristocracy. Hard to believe those clean, jointed hands had left red marks on my waist that morning. That cool voice had been moaning my name only hours ago. At the thought, heat flooded my face again. The chairman joshed as he introduced their star alumnus. How Chad had once been the unruly headache of every teacher, and now, transformed into President Barron, the man everyone could only look up to. Girls in the front row stared openly, snapping photos whenever they could. The pink bloom on their faces was impossible to hide. They should never have let him wear those glasses, they're too deadly. One figure stood out in the first row. She sat with composed grace. Compared with the undergrads around her, she seemed softer, more refined, drawing the steady gaze of every boy behind her. Artie. There's another alumna I must introduce, our campus belle, Artie. She always ranked far ahead of the pack and was famous on campus. I remember you too once. The chair realized he shouldn't continue and cut himself off. Artie took the mic with a smile. Everyone knows about it. There's nothing for the chair to hide. Now that I'm back, it's to pick up where we left off. Her words drew cheers and applause from the audience. People love a pretty, broken mirror mended love story. Senior Artie is so beautiful, she's even prettier than the photos I saw on the forum, the boy beside me sighed. Is she? I tilted my head, letting my gaze settle on the handsome kid who'd spoken. His face went beet red. Well, she's okay. Then he blurted, you're very pretty, too. I snorted a laugh and praised him, good taste. On stage, Chad had begun sharing his path to success. Talks like that always make my head pound. I drowsed off on my folded arms. The roar from below jerked me awake. It was the Q&A, what did she just ask? Why's everyone so loud? Senior, that student asked about President Barron's family, whether he has a fiancé. No wonder the hooting, college kids love gossip. Of course he does. He and Miss Clark dated back then, and now they're back together. Miss Clark showing up today says it all, doesn't it? Holding the mic, the man said evenly, she's not my fiancé, for now. His gaze didn't land on Artie. Instead, he curled his lips faintly. But I am preparing to propose. If nothing goes wrong, she will be in a few days. Blessings rippled through the hall. Thinking of that ring, I felt unreasonably irritable. Setting everything else aside, that ring really was gorgeous. From the design to the size of the stone, it was exactly my taste. When the lecture ended, the crowd thinned, but plenty of reporters remained to interview Chad and Artie. The angle was their college romance. Artie's cheeks were still pink, steeped in the glow of Chad's, preparing to propose. I lifted my eyes. Surrounded by reporters, Chad radiated cool indifference. His shirt cuffs were rolled to the forearms, even from several meters away, you could see the veins raised beneath the skin, disappearing under the fabric, sexy and distracting. "Senior, do you have WeChat?" The boy next to me suddenly spoke up. I looked over. His ears were red, his hands were a mess, he couldn't even meet my eyes. I smiled. Who doesn't have WeChat these days? I mean, senior, could I add yours? Of course. I handed over my phone generously. Take out yours and scan me. You came and didn't tell me. A large hand whisked my phone away. Chad's fingers closed around my slender arm, where they touched, small red marks bloomed. I stared at him, baffled, wondering how he'd gotten off the stage so fast. The freshman who'd asked for my contact took one look at Chad and couldn't string a sentence together. After a long stammer, he tucked his phone away and apologized before fleeing. "Aren't you doing interviews?" I pulled my hand free, folded my arms, and eyed him. Reporters had followed him down. "And this is?" They approached, surprised when they saw me, their eyes flicked over me, assessing. I lifted my lips at just the right angle. "I'm his little sister." Then, feigning a blush, I added, "Brother-in-law, this isn't proper, my sister will be upset." The reporters muttered under their breath, so the rumors were true. "This isn't a caged songbird, this is an installed deity. It's ending soon anyway. Didn't you hear? Chad and Artie are getting engaged." "Don't be so sure. Looks like the songbird has Chad on a leash." Chad didn't give an interview. Instead, he led me out of the auditorium. His grip tightened slightly. "Come here, say it to my face." I dodged him. "Go find your fiancé. Firecracker." Chad chuckled, a teasing light stirred in his dark eyes. "Were you really that much of a terror in college? The chair called you out by name." "I wasn't a good student, no." "No wonder you dated," I muttered. "Come on, little firecracker." "Where are we going?" "Nowhere in particular. Let's walk the campus." "Did you used to come here a lot?" I asked. His assistant jumped in. President Barron often appeared, in the discipline reports. "How do you know?" "Tom Wilson, my classmate in college." I pivoted instantly. "Assistant Wilson, tell me more about Chad back then." Chad nudged my head forward. "Focus on the tour. I heard AU's cafeteria is amazing. You've eaten everything under the sun. You like this? You want some?" "No. The cafeteria really was too good. I sat there afterward, too full to move." A thought struck me. "What about Artie? She's got legs." I smiled, burrowed closer into his chest. "Can't walk. My legs are tired. Hopeless." Grumbling aside, he still slid an arm around my waist and lifted me in a bridal carry. That tiny, ridiculous sense of safety becomes forever, for people like me. I brushed the little mole at his throat, his breathing deepened, control fraying. The clear, urgent thud of his heart became a secret we didn't have words for. And I knew. Tomorrow, I should leave. I have no parents. I lived on trash I picked. Odd jobs when I could get them. Chad took me in 2 years ago. The first time we met, he crushed the soda can I was about to collect under his shoe, grabbed me by the back of my shirt like a stray chick, and lifted me clean off the ground. Asked where I'd gotten my clothes. I figured he had money, he looked expensively dressed. But he was also mean. Made me mad just to look at him. I bit him and ran. Second time, he found me battling a stray dog over a bag of meat buns. My first taste of meat in days. He chased the dog off, my buns went with it. I demanded he pay me back. He bought me 2 pieces of really good bread and lured me home. I went. That day, I ate until I was truly full. After that, I lived in Chad's house. He fed and clothed me. Everyone was kind. Everyone liked me. In time, I fell in love with that big, warm house. But I knew I'd have to go someday. Of all people, I understood best what kind of man Chad was. As time went on, I grew more willful. After eating the bitterness I had, I refused to take even a crumb of it again. Chad knew. He looked the other way. As long as I worked a little harder at night, the ledger stayed balanced. On the day of the engagement banquet, Chad left early. I got up at dawn to pack. Halfway through, Artie called. She was probably coming to gloat. She spoke the whole time as the rightful one, warning me, "Annie, you didn't live our past. You don't know." When I met him, he was a reckless mess, smoking, fighting, street racing. I molded him into what he is now. I've seen their old photos. Chad had been a handful. I forced down the sourness and asked, "If you were so good together, why did you break up?" Don't tell me his grandmother disapproved. He was a madman, he'd have done anything for you. Silence stretched, then she said slowly, "I did it for his own good." I don't know the specifics, but from what little they've said, when Artie left, Chad wasn't much of a person. It was pitiful. I let the scorn show. Oh? And now you're back to pick up the pieces? What are you, to speak to me like that? I know Chad's cold to you, he spoils you to spite me. When he's done being angry, there'll be no reason for you to exist. I hung up before she could finish. Staring at the empty house, I felt hollow inside. The feeling curdled into restlessness. By evening, I took Chad's black card out again for one last sweep, used these diligent hands to haul every bag I liked back home. When I returned, arms full, it was past 9. The housekeeper wasn't around, no doubt busy with preparations for the engagement. I keyed in the code and opened the door. I'd only taken a few steps when a voice came out of the dark. Back already? I jumped, thinking I'd misheard. The light snapped on. Chad was sitting on the sofa. I froze. What was going on? He rose and walked over, looking down at me. I held my breath, trembling head to toe. He spoke without warning, making me jolt. Not a single tear? After all I've spent on you, you little ingrate. The sack of designer bags slipped from my hands, luxury spilled across the floor. I scrambled to gather them up, heart thundering, whether from being caught or something else, I couldn't say. My voice came out tiny. Weren't you getting engaged? Grandma set that up on her own when she heard Artie was back. It was cancelled long ago. He lifted his eyes to me and went on. She also used my WeChat to add Artie, that was Grandma, tricking me into it. Cancelled long ago? But Artie kept in touch with you while she was abroad, didn't she? That was Grandma, guilty and compensating her. She never told me. No wonder Artie kept picking fights. She didn't even know what was in Chad's heart. But then, he'd left me in the dark this long and never bothered to explain. No. He was lying. I was about to snap when his gaze darkened, his tone turned wry. Didn't expect you really wouldn't care. His eyes dropped to my bags. So, planning to run off with your loot? His scolding tone lit my fuse. Anyone listening would think I was the one breaking hearts. Chad, we're using each other. From the start you said we'd part amicably. He pinched my cheeks. Annie, do you truly have no heart at all? Not 1 ounce of feeling for me. Before I could answer, he caught the back of my head and kissed me, hard, like venting. I couldn't even breathe. He really was furious that night. He didn't leave me human by the end of it. Getting out of bed the next morning was out of the question. Bringing me breakfast, he mentioned he was seeing Artie that day. I frowned. If you're not getting engaged, why meet? His eyes fell to the red marks at my collarbone. Want to come? Absolutely not. I said that, but as soon as he left, I hailed a cab and tailed him. Disguised, I took the booth beside theirs. Chad, I'm so happy you asked me out. I think, you're willing to give us a chance, aren't you? His voice was arctic. You know why we were together. Out of regard for the fact that you did help me once, I haven't exposed it publicly. But don't covet what was never yours. Miss Clark, have some self-respect. Then who deserves it? Annie? And why? He slid a photo across to her. Artie looked, then let out a self-mocking laugh. So that's it. No wonder you'd fall for a woman like that. But she doesn't even know you. She doesn't like you. Not your concern, Chad said, and left. He'd barely stepped out when my phone buzzed. Patron saint, where are you? Want to go shopping? Me, sure. Hunched low, I was plotting my escape from right under his nose, when someone snagged my collar. If you're going to watch, don't hide. That night, when I snuck a look at Chad's phone again, Artie was no longer in his contacts. The next morning, Assistant Wilson came by for files at Chad's request. Curiosity getting the better of me, I cornered him for the backstory. President Barron's temper made him plenty of enemies in college. Once, a group hired thugs to jump him on his way home. He wasn't on guard, they outnumbered him, he ended up in the hospital. A girl happened by with a shovel and drove them off. He only saw her back, and because she wore Artie's jacket, he assumed it was Artie. He asked her, she admitted it. Later he felt something was off, looked into it, it wasn't her. I blinked. Then who saved him? I'm not supposed to say, the assistant apologized, but I think he already found her. I pursed my lips and smothered the flutter in my chest. Got it. That evening, the rental I'd contacted called to ask if I still wanted the place. I was about to answer when the man beside me pressed the decline button. Don't. I hesitated, then laid it out, everything that had happened. We've had this arrangement for nearly 3 years. We used each other. I've got enough to keep going now. Even if I don't leave today, I will when you find someone you love. His grip didn't loosen. There won't be anyone else. Annie, be with me. It took me a long moment to understand what he meant. He slid that ring onto my finger. It was always for you. I knew you tried it on. So I figured, you must like it. I stared at the perfect fit, the design I loved. Suddenly I couldn't bear to take it off. Chad covered my hand with his. So, consider it, be with me? Annie, stay. If I'm with you, does that mean I lose my freedom? He laughed softly, voice wicked. What if all my money is yours to spend? My heart wavered. Will there be another Artie? No. No one will bully you again. Be good. I can be your backbone forever. I know how hard it is not knowing where your next meal comes from. I didn't think long. I said yes. It wasn't until we were standing in the Civil Affairs Bureau that it felt surreal. In Chad's words, I had a home. No more living on the run. No more worrying about tomorrow's bread. Still, I believe in being prepared. I'll keep stockpiling bags. If Chad ever changes his mind, I can liquidate. Chad has grown clingier. I didn't notice before, now he even brings me on business trips. I'm so tired, so tired, so tired, so tired. Keep this up and even a pampered songbird will go on strike. Everyone seems terrified of me. They used to be angry but silent. Now they don't even dare be angry, just detour when they see me. I didn't get it, I asked Chad. He pinched my waist. What's to fear? My good girl is nothing but lovable. I think so too.